Hello everyone, I am the Sports Wiz 101, and today I'll be giving you my predictions for Week 6 of the NFL season. So predict all these games set to take place in Week 6. We are coming off of a extremely disappointing week. Not just because my Chiefs lost the way they did, but also because predictions-wise, we only got 5 of the games correctly. 5 of 14, that is just unacceptable. We'll try to do better this week. So we'll get started here in the AFC. The Broncos and the Jets going at it in London. I believe I'm going to declare this to be my lock of the week. I'm taking Denver over the Jets in London. Of course, Denver coming off that huge win over the Eagles. And New York just has not looked that good, especially on the defensive side. They have not been able to force any turnovers to this point. And I'm not sure that Denver is going to be that team that does turn the ball over for the first time against this Jet defense. Elsewhere, maybe they're able to get some good run with Breece Hall and all that, but I don't think they'll be able to do that good a job of moving the ball. I don't think the Jets are going to be able to throw the ball against this Denver defense. I mean, you have Garrett Wilson, he'll probably be going up against Pat Surtain, and that's just a nightmare of a matchup for the Jets. And yeah, this match just does not look good at all for New York. I'll take the Broncos. Then we got the Browns and the Steelers. Pittsburgh, of course, coming off a bye after their international victory over the Vikings. Cleveland just came back from London as well. They also played the Vikings internationally. Of course, Cleveland came out losers in that matchup. It'll be Dillon Gabriel leading the Browns offense here after he started the game against Minnesota, and Cleveland actually led that for a decent amount of the second half before Minnesota finally took the lead. But I feel like this might be a bit of a coming back to earth moment for Gabriel as he takes on a Steelers defense that is up there for the league lead in takeaways. So I'll take Pittsburgh to get the win here at home over the Browns. Chargers and Dolphins will be going at it in Miami. I'm taking the Chargers. Yes, I know that they have not looked that good on offense since they lost Joe Alt with his ankle injury. Now that they have both of their starting tackles missing action due to injury. That being said, I do think this Miami defense is one of the easier defenses to move the ball against, especially through the air. I think Justin Herbert will look much more like his first couple of weeks self than his last couple of weeks. And I think that the Charger defense should do a decent job of stopping a Tyreek Hill-less Dolphins offense. So I'll take the Chargers. Titans and Raiders. Of course, Tennessee gets their first win of the year this past week over the Cardinals as my lock of the week backfired. They take on another Western team, and this time it's the Vegas Raiders, just a bit north of the Cardinals, of course. And here I'm going to take the Raiders. That win over the Cardinals for the Titans was rather fluky. Of course, you had DeMarcado fumbling the ball at the 1 yard line, and you had the interception by the Cardinals that somehow turned into a fumble recovered by Tennessee for a touchdown. Very fluky win there for the Titans. I don't think they keep up the positive momentum. I'll take the Raiders. Moving on, Seahawks Jaguars. This one's probably the toughest game for me to pick this week. And you could really make an argument for either team, I think. Here I'm taking Jacksonville. Look, I've said before that I don't trust the offense. I still don't really trust the offense to do a lot. However, that defense, I think, will be able to force a couple of turnovers, which has been their MO to this point. I mean, most takeaways in the league. I think they get some key takeaways against the Seahawks, and those takeaways prove to be the deciding factor in this game. Jacksonville gets the win. Rams and Ravens up next. There's plenty of question about the status of Lamar Jackson in this game, and I think the Ravens can really only have a chance of winning this game if Lamar does play. He did miss practice earlier today, so it's a fair question to ask if Lamar is even going to play in this game. And if we're assuming he doesn't, then I think this is a clear Rams victory. That being said, even if he does play, I think I'd still take the Rams just because of how bad that Baltimore defense is. And yes, I know they just went and signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I still don't think that's going to do much to change how bad this Baltimore defense truly is. I'll take the Rams for the win. Cardinals and Colts going at it. Indy has just looked very impressive to this point. Whereas you have a Cardinals team that's, of course, dealing with plenty of injuries. They just lost at home to the Titans. And now they got to go over to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. I'm going to take Indy here. I think Jonathan Taylor has himself another big game and leads the Colts to another victory. Patriots and Saints going at it down in New Orleans. Both teams coming off a big win. However, I think New England's probably more likely to use the positive momentum from that win further, especially since, they just have the better overall quarterback. They got the better defense. They got, I think at this point, I'd say better coach. I could see Kellen Moore jumping Mike Vrabel for that honor. I think that one's at least close, but I still think I'd take Vrabel. So, really, in my eyes, I'm taking the better quarterback. I'm taking the better defense. I'm taking the better coach. I'm taking the Patriots. Bengals and Packers. Green Bay, of course, coming off a bye after they had that high-scoring tie against the Dallas Cowboys. Now they take on the Cincinnati Bengals, and based on how the Bengals have been playing, you would assume this would be a relatively easy victory for the Packers. And then Cincinnati goes and makes a trade for a quarterback, as it's old man Flacco joining the Cincinnati Bengals. He will make the start on Sunday for Cincinnati, which you would think, or at least hope, that leads to Cincinnati becoming improved on the offensive side. And of course, Flacco already beat the Packers earlier this year. He started for the Browns in week 3, and the Browns beat the Packers. And now Flacco's got better receivers. However, that defense for the Bengals, I think, lets them down here. I'll take Green Bay to get the win. And then we got Sunday Night Football, where my Kansas City Chiefs host the Detroit Lions in a battle between, well, we hope they're potential Super Bowl contenders. With how the Chiefs have played, I'm still not certain about that. And with how the Chiefs pressured Trevor Lawrence, or the lack of pressure, I should say, that they sent his way, how are they going to pressure Jared Goff? That's my main question. How are they going to pressure Jared Goff? I feel like that is the one thing you need to do if you want to stop the Lions' offense. And the Kansas City, I don't think, can do it unless they do blitz. And they can't go into this one blitz heavy, especially with all the weapons that Detroit has. Now, Detroit will be down a couple of members of their secondary, so that at least gives me some hope. And I do believe this Chiefs offense is much better than it's been in the past couple of years. But I just don't know if the defense can stop Detroit. So as much as I would love to say that Kansas City stops the ridiculous stat line of Goff being undefeated against Mahomes, until I see improvement from the D-line, I don't think I can pick them to beat the Lions. I'll take Detroit to get the win. Bills and Falcons will be going at it Monday night in Atlanta. The Falcons coming off a bye, going up against a Bills defense that's just been terrible against the run. So this could be an awesome game for Bijan Robinson. In the end, however, I do think Buffalo might be a bit enraged after losing their perfect season this past Sunday against the Patriots. They're going to take it on Atlanta, and I think Buffalo comes out of this on top. Then we look at Thursday Night Football. Eagles and the Giants going at it in the Meadowlands. Of course, Philly in a similar spot to what Buffalo is in. Enraged, coming off of their first loss of the year. And I feel like this is a get-right game for them against the New York Giants. I'll take Philly to get the win there. 49ers Buccaneers, this one should be a great one. Both teams have had their fair share of injuries, and both teams have been able to persevere through them. That being said, I think that Buccaneer defensive line will make things very difficult for the 49ers, and I think that is why I'm picking Tampa Bay to get the win. That D-line just making things too difficult for the 49ers to move the ball. I'm taking Tampa. Dallas and Carolina will be going at it over in Charlotte. I'll take the Cowboys. I think they'll be able to throw the ball against this Panther defense. And while Carolina could be able to move the ball against Dallas's defense, I think Dak makes that one extra play compared to Bryce Young. And then we got the Bears and the Commanders, a.k.a. the other Monday Night Football game. Yes, there's 2 Monday Night Football games this week, folks. Both involving teams coming off of a bye. In this case, it's Chicago coming off a bye. They're 2-2. And this, of course, a rematch of the game last year where Jayden Daniels threw the Hail Mary to beat the Bears. Here, I'm going to take the Commanders. I was just very impressed by the Commanders team I saw last Sunday go into SoFi, take down the Chargers. Yes, they now have to come to the other side of the country just to play in their home stadium. But I feel like Washington will present a challenge to Chicago that Dallas was not able to present in Chicago's last game. So give me the Commanders for the win. But there you go. There's my picks for Week 6 of the NFL season. If you like this, please like and subscribe for more to come in the following weeks. I've been Sports Quiz 101, and I will see you all later.